For cars, there are a lot of choices out there. And then there's this. Meet Buhalian Military Products Rotunda. The Rotunda is 20 tons of miserable excuses masquerading as a car-shaped object. It's a hard vehicle to define as so few remain outside of the hands of a certain militarized phone company, but if there was a Venn diagram for the intersection of malaise, hyperbole, and graft, at the very center, there would be the Rotunda sitting there, awkwardly waiting for you to discover how incredibly underwhelming it is. When new, these things were just shy of 500,000 C-bills. And nowadays, their sculpted exterior is a reminder that the Star League frequently bought anything, even remotely promising, sight unseen. As such, it stands, or rather sits, as a symbol of excess and underwhelming engineering masquerading as a sophisticated platform for, well, no one really knows exactly. The Rotunda is a 20-ton car resting on the hardest tires known to man, with a dodgy suspension and horrific maintenance issues plaguing early models. Even with those issues seemingly addressed by later production runs, it possesses all of the handling and grace of a drunk hockey player trying to climb an escalator in full kit. It doesn't look like much, and that's because it really isn't. While it does have 4 doors for more whores, it was only ever designed for a single occupant. In what passed for meager luxury, the Rotunda is equipped with a tiny fusion engine, and as such has a theoretically unlimited range. That is, if other issues don't make you abandon it after it breaks down. It boasts cooking and sleeping spaces for extended patrols, though I cannot fathom who would drive a sedan into a war zone and expect no one to start shooting at it. And if they do, well then you're gonna be in trouble. The 20-ton Recon 4-door has only a single ton of paper-thin armor, and its speed of 146 kilometers an hour seems good for Recon, but again, it's a car. It lacks enough ground clearance to comfortably tackle parking lot speed bumps, let alone support the idea of all-terrain reconnaissance. Good luck trying to creep into position for adequate observation or scouting with one of the biggest cars ever made. For offense, or rather pretending to participate in battle, it has a laser. A large laser at that, but without turrets or sophisticated tracking systems. That means that the driver must orient the car toward the target in order to engage, which more or less dispels any idea that it's an unobtrusive ground vehicle. It also has SRM launchers just beneath the headlights, which I can get behind, but only for blasting roadhogs. As the Dairon plant was razed in 2776 during the Secession Wars, thankfully very few Rotundas remain. Fewer by the year, as their less than stellar reputation made them undesirable to collect even as oddities, and so their poor engineering resulted in near extinction. Which Rotunda is best Rotunda? None of them. None of them is best. Best does not exist in this vehicle. There is only compromise and disappointment. As on a long enough timeline, everything gets an LS swap, and alternative weapons loadouts or different exterior body kits do exist to make people think the Rotunda isn't a Rotunda, but it will always just be that, the Rotunda. Largely extinct, the Rotunda is lasting proof that the Star League had more problems than most let on. It is incapable of its designated tasks, and further, it even fails as a civilian vehicle. To what the Baron was for warships, the Rotunda is for light vehicles. A watchword. And a reminder that just because old empires were powerful doesn't mean they were always smart. For the price of a Rotunda, even when new, you could buy a handful of cheap tanks and have enough money left over to throw a party to celebrate that you didn't buy a Rotunda. Big, ugly, and in any body kit configuration, equally useless. The Rotunda is to cars as Cincinnati chili is to the world of cuisine. The Rotunda is a lady's bra. It is adjacent to good things, but largely in the way of them. The Rotunda is a statement on what happens when you let engineers do whatever they want without asking why first. It's a reminder that we can do better, if only in principle.